interferes with the young ones students' ability to listen, thinking, speaking, writing, spelling, and with most of the students with mathematical calculations and the mathematical abilities. It is the concerns that must be addressed systematically to bring the best out of the young ones. As the name goes, it refers to the learning disorders specific in nature. And it is the neurodevelopmental disorder that typically diagnosed in early school age children. And as per the international estimate, it is sometimes said that around 15% of the school going children struggle with the learning ability of one kind or the other. And out of that 15% total school going kids, almost 80% of the children's disorders have referred to the impairment in reading in particular, which we call, there are several different kinds of learning disabilities. And these learning disabilities are caused by difference in the neurological functioning of the person's brain. And these neurological differences occurs prior to the birth, during the birth, early childhood, and there are several causes which might trigger these kind of neurofunctioning disorders. Maternal illness during pregnancy, could be birth complications. Sometimes genes may be responsible for that kind of a disabilities. Injury or illness might be one of the factor in early childhood. One of the major and the popularly known learning disability is dyslexia. Dyslexia is mainly responsible for difficulty in reading. Child may not be able to read it properly. If at all he reads, is not verbalize it properly as it should be. This is one of the common form of learning disabilities, which is almost 80% of the all 15% total generation of the young kids. The other one is dysgraphia. Here in this kind of a disabilities, the children have difficulty in written expression. Even if they write something, the word is not properly formed. You might see in that the visuals. Even if the word is formed, it is not written properly. The word's length, its height, and the total paragraph written seems to be very jeopardized. So these kind of difficulties force children to have very difficult time writing the sentence. Even 4-word sentence writing may be sometimes nightmare to them. The other form of learning disability is dyscalculia. Dyscalculia means that the children will have difficulty in arranging the numbers in orders. Even a smallest calculation or table looks like a very complex job for them. And they avoid numbers. They start avoiding numbers in any form, whether they are in school or in home or in a social situation. The other form of specific learning disability is auditory processing disorder. Here in APD, what they hear and what is being said to them, there is a difference. So what we show them and ask them, they interpret it in a different way. And they have a difficulty in understanding what is being advised or taught to them. What is there for them, it is very difficult for them to make out when we do some auditory instructions to them. The other form of disability is language processing disorder. Like in earlier one, auditory, here the young ones feel difficulty in speaking in a proper, sensible manner. It is not any physical aspect related to them. People with language processing disorders struggle to comprehend the meaning of the word and the sentence said to them. When we narrate them something, they have a difficulty in comprehending the meaning of the word said to them. So this is language processing disorder. There is other kind of learning disabilities like non-verbal learning disabilities. Here the children will be having a challenging time when they are presenting with some images, understanding them, and then responding what is being shown to them. And they are totally non-verbal skills, which might include some motor activity, social skills, and visual pattern. The other one is visual perceptual, visual motor deficit. Here, what is being seen is that when we present them some solid object and ask them to relate over the chart, they have a different perception. They have a difficulty in relating the image and what is being given to them as a solid object. There is one major difference. Sometimes we include the ADHD with the specific learning disability, which is not. ADHD is totally different. Here the ADHD children are restless. They have trouble sitting in one place, paying attention to any specific activity. ADHD and SLD is two different disorders. And as per Dr. Rishe Vatekar, she is a famous educational psychologist. They said the SLD is first noticed in first 3 grades of the schooling. That means right like age group of 5 to 6 years are the age group when we can notice that the children are facing any kind of a specific learning disability with them. The disability characteristics, they show reading speed for the child's grade level. If the child is in first grade, we will observe that whatever is the normal speed of child's reading habits, that's typically kid might be having lesser proficiency. They have a trouble understanding the meaning of what they are reading. Struggling to clearly write out thoughts without grammatical errors. Very small things according to their age group and the class groups. They have difficulty with spelling, narrating things. Like in dyscalculia, particular trouble with mathematical concepts. Very simple addition, subtraction, multiplication. They might do, but most of the time, they are not doing it correctly. It is not the case that they will not at all do that, but they have a challenging time coming out with the right answers. To get the diagnosed children, they should have at least 5 to 6 months of the specific learning disability symptoms. I mean, it is not the case that the child is facing couple of times any specific disability in reading, writing, or in mathematical. We call it that they're suffering from the SLD. At least we should observe them for 5 to 6 months to come to the conclusion that the children is specifically facing challenging with this kind of a disability. And that's how their prognosis go on. And SLD symptoms with any specific disabilities could vary from child to child. It's not that whatever is the bookish way written 5 symptoms for the dyslexia will be common to all the children which are diagnosed as the SLD dyslexia. And no kid experience all kind of symptoms at a time. It's not that if we know that there are 10 symptoms, all of them will present in a specific case. it is not. And since there is no care of SLD, the best helping is to understand their learning disorders and giving them tools. That specifically should be done in their schooling, right when we observe that the children is facing some kind of a challenge. And believe me, having SLD is not something which we should ashamed of or which we should hide. And I have seen that it is no way reflection of child's intelligence or potential. They have a lot of potential, but if treated in and observed and make an observation that the child is facing some specific disabilities, if we treat at a time with addressing to the what is the root cause, the children will glow with their maximum potential. If you see the government perspective, they have started PWD mandate. They have raised with the 2009 Act, and they revised it on 2016, and they included UDID. They included disability in their UDID, unique identification, and they have made a unique database, and they've issued a card with all the information, the kind of a disability, how much percent of the disability the candidate is having. And state to state, there are programs running who understand the difficulties with the children and promote them through their different level of beneficiary schemes. They are from the village level, block level, district level, state level, and national level. And there is a site, swavlambangovernment.in. This is how the site looks. Unique disability ID. This kind of a card they give. The kind of a disability they write, like here it is seen locomotor disability. How much percentage of disability? The government has made a mandate that if the disability should be at least 40%. Then only the candidate will be able to eligible for different beneficiary scheme under the government of India. So minimum percentage of disability should be 40%. Otherwise, they don't issue this card. This is what specifically I want to share. This is my first presentation. Hope I have made a justice with the time everyone has given.
Is supposed to be having dyslexia, sir. But he's a very talented. Yes, Ranveer Singh. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Deepika Padukone's
husband. Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. Yes.
No, but sir, they have not made it publicly that what kind of a dyslexia or ailment they are facing. They're still facing or they had faced during their early childhood. Famous personalities who had made it clear that they are facing or they had faced, and they're not ashamed of it. Here in Indian texts, pretext, we have a tendency of hiding the psychological disorders, and that is one of the main cause why we are not being able to addressing this kind of ailment properly early at the right time. Even if we go through our family systems, suppose if my kid has got some problem, I'll not make sure that he's got the treatment. I'll make sure that nobody else other than us knows that this is the problem the kids or the family is facing.
But in India again, Deepika Padukone, she went public and she.
In my perception, in my observation, we can't judge that our kid is facing SLD kind of a problem. School is the best place where this is detected right at the classroom level, because there are a lot of students. When the teacher teacher sees that one particular student is facing difficulty in one kind of other, relating, matching, and if not matching with the other kids. In home, we are having only one or two kids. So for us, it's a little difficult. I'm not saying impossible, but it is difficult to judge that the children is facing dyslexia or dysgraphia or dyscalculia. If we regularly go to the school PTM, interacting with these school teachers, right from the primary level, I'm not saying secondary or middle level, right from the primary and suppose class 1, class 2, class 3 onwards, we'll be able to get the feedback. And that's where we can diagnose that, yes, the kid is having some kind of a challenge in learning disabilities. It could be one kind of a disability or other that can be diagnosed at later level. But my request is that parents should always go to the PTM, interact with the class teachers or the subject teachers, and get the feedback how the kid is doing. It is not that every kid should have 98% or 99%. I don't believe on that. But at least we should get the feedback what kind of a performance or what kind of a social interaction the kid is having along with the other one. That will be the right time when we approach psychologist or special educator and the organization like that. I think I'm not a psychologist or I'm not practitioner psychology person. I have a deep interest in clinical psychology, and that's how right from 87 onwards I kept on touching one kind of other psychological topics in my personal interest. If a kid has got like dyslexia, he has got some problem and it is not being treated well in time. The problem you might not see overtly, but the problem grows in his mind from 1 to 100 level. And in each level, you might see that the child will avoid these kind of either if it is a dyscalculia, he will avoid the numbers. If it is dyslexia, he is avoiding reading. And if he keep on doing that, the possibility of that he might have a major challenge when he grows up and comes to 7, 8 or 9, 10th standard. Because that is where this kind of ability should be performing well. To mix in the social scenario, to come out with the good numbers in the examination. So the challenge will keep on growing, and we might not guess that what kind of a challenge the child has got in his mind. That will make his life miserable.
The people, child with special learning disabilities, are sometimes we see them in the same class with the normal children.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not very sure whether that can really help them.
Sir, my perception is that the child will get the normal education along with his classmates, but at the same time, few hours during his school time, they will be sent to a special classes within the school. That kind of arrangement some of these schools, good schools have made. So they go to the special educator, say for 1 hour or 2 hours time out of the total schooling time. And they keep on their studying with the normal student category.
Okay.
Yes, there is a stress on the students that they might see that they are going to specific classes. Sometimes the student get, you are going to the special classes because of some reasons or other. Sometimes there is a playtime and these kids will go into the special education. So that kind of a stress they usually keep in their mind. But some of the good schools have made the arrangement and they have taken the student to the special educator within the school so that they should not feel stress going out and doing special classes after the schooling hours. Opinion, sir. If a child is going to a special schools, the special schools meant for where the complexity has grown up and it is not manageable well within the other students. Yes, then it is okay. But if the ailment is diagnosed at very little stage, say around first class, second class, or third class, my observation is that whatever I have seen is that if the student continues with their normal schooling and go to the special educator either at the school or after the school, it will help them growing holistically. But yes, if the ailment has grown out of the control and it is difficult for the student and for the parents and for the school to manage the kid with the normal students, yes, then the special education institutions are the only way.
I have been going as a, we can say, voluntary counselor. It is my passion. We have got a group because I have been attending these webinars. Observe, some teachers are not aware. Some teachers beat up their children like this children. And once or twice it has happened with me that I've seen, I have told the teacher that there is this problem with a child. So you must talk to your principal about it. They are not aware. Most of the teachers are not aware. For the last 2-3 years, this awareness has started coming into the schools. So there I observe sometimes, and now government is very particular about engaging such people, that special education teachers. In every school now they have got one teacher for special education. So that sometimes he or she is not talked about this, that such problem is there. And usually teachers used to beat such children, which was very bad and very unfortunate. And that time I did not know for the last 4 or 5 years. I have also become aware about all this by attending these webinars. So I tell them that change now. Now special educators, as you have told us, there are special educators are there who take charge of such children. But I don't know. I don't think that thing has just been so popular among schools, among teachers, and special educators are also just treated like other teachers and all that. So that is very interesting. Sometimes I find it very funny that they behave like this. They're given regular classes also like that. So they are not getting that proper time to look towards the, we can say, the things which the drawbacks which they have, they don't get time even to look towards such children. That is also a difficulty because awareness in the society is not there. That is the unfortunate story. So very few teachers can recognize that, can diagnose that. Only then it is possible if the general public is also made aware of that. That is a thing. Or if in education, the authorities are, we can say there should be, in our times when you used to study there, you used to be inspectors of schools. They used to go inspect all that, and they would make the difference in the education system. Now those things have gone, disappeared, can say inspectors of schools and all that. So if they are again put on this, then I think there will be a lot of difference and teachers will also be aware, and such type of webinars should take place in many schools also. That would be better and they would understand all this.
Manjula ma'am, I raised the hand.
And she was not guilty of it. She shared it with the media. And because she was not guilty, she was able to overcome also. She went to the proper psychiatrist. So I just wanted to share that there are many bodies, like we have Buddhism, where we share this problem, So the person suffering is no longer guilty. See, a child who has dyslexia, once she is able to go to the PTM, the parent, and understand the problem, the child when grows up also will not be guilty of that disability and therefore overcome it 99%. So this is what I wanted to share.
Sure. My observation, in my understanding, the depression doesn't come in this specific learning disability category.
Yeah.
In young children learning.
Yeah. And even in depression, there is a variety of depression, endogenous depression, reactive depression. So,
Yeah.
we cannot include that kind of a depression in SLD category.
Yeah,
So,
sure, sure.
yeah.
Sure, sir.
Film director
Right,
who
sir.
has dyslexia.
Mhm.
If you Google,
Okay.
there are good number of them. If you just find out in India itself,
Okay.
there are good number of persons, very famous, but with the child disabilities.
To learn with a certain kind of basic English knowledge to narrate the sentence with some kind of a subject, the verb, with the with the connecting words. So that they can overcome the slow learning pattern to somewhat to the average level. First for the slow learners, then as far as the specific learning disabilities, we have to, each and every parents have to make to focus where the babies are lacking in. Most of the parents doesn't want to accept the child where they are lacking in, especially in the form of a narration or in the form of a comprehension or in the form of the calculation. They don't want to come to the counselors where they are lacking, the child is lacking in. It is really make them to push under the difficult learners, that is dyslexia. Dyslexia is the specific learning disability in certain forms. Maybe they have the confusion with the language. They doesn't know to frame the spelling according to the needed spelling form, or their connectivity of for the is they will put off, or for the for they will use by. Just like that, they have the confusing mind. If they want to overcome it, they can make them to learn of where they have to arrange the words in the form of a subject, in the form of a word. What is a connecting word? Whether they have to put it in the present form or in the past form. Just like that, we have to make them to develop the skill to overcome these challenges. That the same pattern in the sequential continuity of numericals. The baby is used to do the 1, 2, 3 in the order. They doesn't know to put in the order also.
They also suffered from dyslexia when they were children.
Sagar Kapoor also.
Okay.
Yeah.
This Hrithik Roshan and Ranbir Kapoor, maybe they had dyslexia. I don't know how much their parents went to PTM and encouraged them while they were growing. But I think maybe the dyslexia was of less intensity. That is why they developed into actors and personalities who are famous in the cine field. This is just a thought that came to me.
Our own society will feel and found that there are a lot of children facing such kind of a situation, and the parents are in denial. The parents are in denial totally that their kids had challenging time in reading, writing, or calculating. That is where the problem is. The problem is not the problem. The problem is not the dyslexia. The problem is within the house, within the parent system, where they keep a kind of a shell around them, not showing off that the problem is growing inside.
Yeah, sir, when a child gets so much of support, when he has to bloom, he will bloom. Like this Hrithik Roshan and other cine stars, or even scientists or researchers, they could be anybody, but they could be, Winston Churchill, leader of a country, or, but the support of the family is required. For that, the parent should go to PTM and, support the child. This is very much in support of what you are talking.
Go to all the PTMs, not in once in a year or twice in a year. If they go regularly, keep on checking the development, keep on checking the milestone of the student at the class level, then only they'll get the feedback, and then only the teacher will be serious that the parents are interested in knowing about the children's development. Otherwise,
Sure. I
otherwise,
agree.
otherwise the teacher will keep on doing his job. I mean, all the 30, 40 students, and sometimes at classes 50, 60 students.
Parents, the teachers and parents, they may call the children dumb, stupid,